Hey everybody, on this episode of the GH Report, Peter's past is fully exposed, Mac is joining the police on a regular basis, and holy cow, is Dev up to no good? We're going to break it all down next.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey everybody! Boom, 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 boom. Welcome to the GH Report. Breaking down all the latest craziness happening in Port Charles. That town is so crazy. It happens, so many things happen there on a regular basis. We're going to tell you all about it. I am Frank Moran.
I'm Carla Renata.
I am not Rotten Tomato certified. No.
Oh my God. He
not
cannot
like this lady
hold
over
water.
there.
I can't tell him anything. Okay.
By the way, she is a star. She's and the internet has deemed it so. That's right.
That is not true, but it is true about me being a Rotten Tomatoes critic. So yes, there's that.
Nope. Look at this. Every week I tell you that this burgeoning media empire that she's forming is rocketing higher and higher up, and it continues every single week.
Get out of here. Let's do a shout out in the chat room, shall we? You know our girl Pelly. Kelly Public Cover is always there. Joe Costanzo, Fantastic Family Adventures, welcome. I don't think I've seen your name there before. Amy Caraluzzo, Lori Coyle, Zoe Johnson, Tom Clev, Dolores Leach, Annie Goen, Dulaman. Let me see who else is in there. Marlon Wallace, Michael B. Hey, y'all, what's happening? What's shaking?
Look at that. You have so many places you could have spent your Labor Day weekend, and you decided to spend it with us. So we'll do our best not to disappoint. I mean, I will disappoint. That's my gift. Carla, though, she's going to be awesome. But as always, folks, like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and hop in the chat, like Carla was saying. So that way, later on in the show, you'll get another specialized shout-out just for you. It's going to change your life.
Not really.
So we'll break down the latest happenings there. It's been a couple weeks, so we'll break everything down, and we'll do a little news and gossip at the end of the episode as usual.
Yay.
But before we go into everything in more detail, Carla, how's these past couple of weeks treated you?
It was a lot going on in Port Charles these last couple of weeks. It really kind of was. But I'm getting very weary of, Franco / Drew / whatever, whoever he is, walking around being pissed off that people keeps calling him Franco. He's starting to just now calm down from that. But I'm going to need him not to be pissed off every time he walk in the room. But then I remember that when it was happening to Drew and it was happening to Jason, it was the same thing. But for some reason, it seems to be a little bit more intense coming from Franco. Do you feel that?
And tell me, because by watching it, you kind of like Roger Howarth's choice to play Drew. Mm-hmm. It feels like he's got a bit of an affectation to his voice, like an accent or a twang.
Really?
It seems like it.
Oh, I didn't peep that.
I felt like at the beginning a little bit, it may have kind of smoothed out since. But there are times when he talks where you're just like, but you were raised up in New York, though, right?
I cannot stand
I don't know what that's all about.
I can't stand you. But yeah, he's walking around being, angry man. I'm like, I'm going to need you not to be the angry white man on the show this week. Like, just calm down. Bring it down a little bit. But the scene that I enjoyed the most with him, 2 scenes that I enjoyed the most with him, was the scene that he had with Kim. Because Kim, bless her heart, Miss Thing is just all twisted up in the head for a variety. First she was all twisted up in the head over Oscar. Now she's all twisted up in the head over Drew. And I'm having a hard time grasping that because I thought she was over Drew. I thought the whole situation with her feelings for Drew, I thought that was resolved. So now that these stories are coming back through the mouth and face of Franco, stuff that's recognizable to her, she's feeling some kind of way. And I'm like, girl, get your life. That's somebody else's man. What are you doing?
I mean, I guess that is the hard part, because I think she was able to make that distance and that disconnect with Drew because he had no recollection of any of those memories. So it was easy just to say, like, all right, that is something in the past. I have to put that aside. But to now come, not to face those memories that are to Franco, if we'll call him Fru, are incredibly recent and present. I mean, it is like nothing has happened since those 6 years prior. So, it seems weird.
What I mean?
Yes.
It feels very odd. And the other thing the other scene that I enjoyed was the scene between him and Elizabeth, because you saw and kudos to. What's the chick's name that plays Elizabeth? I can't remember her name right now.
Rebecca Herbst.
Rebecca Herbst is slaying it right now, because that scene with Franco/Drew or Fru, that scene that they have together in her house, you see her face go from being the totally adoring wife whose husband has come home to seeing complete and utter disgust and no patience for this person standing in front of her. You see all of that happen on her face in that scene, and that's hard. That's really hard to convey convincingly, and she did it like 100%.
Do you put yourself in Kim's shoes? If you met a man from your a man that you were like, oh, I know you're married to somebody else, or you're at least an acquaintance of mine, but now all of a sudden you have the memories of somebody that I clearly cared about in the past. Just having somebody having those memories, even though it's a face of somebody else, could you still feel yourself being attracted to that person? Or can you make that mental disconnect? Like, even though you got those memories, I know you're not that person.
I mean, I get that it's hard for Kim to make that mental disconnect because of the information that's being disseminated toward her that she knows was special and that carries a special place in her heart and in her memory. But at the same time, you've just made this commitment to this other brother over here. Like, for me personally, I don't know if I would have to just walk away from everybody, because it would just be it would be too much for me. I would have to just shut it down and just walk away from everybody, because that would just be way too much energy and too much confusion coming to me all at once. And if I'm in a situation where I'm trying to grieve a child, that's way too many things going on for me. Which brings me to this question for you. So remember a while ago when the psychic said to Ava not to worry about Julian because he's not going anywhere? Do you think Kim is going to leave town with Fru?
I wonder if that will happen, because I wonder about Julian, because there are so many signs. I mean, Kim is going. It is certainly mixed in with Kim's grieving process for Oscar, that she wants to leave, but that Julian is sort of a second thought to all of this, and it's only him kind of constantly being in Kim's presence, and that things keep moving ahead. Yeah. I just don't know if Julian's pushing too hard or Kim is drawing back too much. Yeah,
I'm wondering if that psychic had her finger on the button with something with regards to that. So someone in the chat, Fantastic Family Adventures, said that Jason has her man's face, and she seems to be able to deal with Jason.
That's true, because you see the face, but you have none of the emotional connection. No memories, nothing like that at all.
So there's that happened. Speaking of Jason, so there were some quite lovely moments between him and Sam this week without your favorite theme song happening.
Yeah, still, well.
J-Sam was on full effect. I was there for all of it. And I love the fact that when Sonny and Carly got remarried, that Sam actually had on a color that wasn't black. Both Jason and Sam had on colors that weren't black. I was like, "Ooh, yay! Y'all explored the rest of the color palette. That was nice." And then I also loved Avery going, "Who are you people?" Remember that moment where they were doing the vows and Carly called them by their real names, and she was like, "Who are you people?" That made me laugh out loud. That was funny.
It's certainly Jason can rock a great looking suit, and I did like that he still couldn't go full Stone Cold. He had to keep the no tie, keep that top button open.
Right.
But he looked good.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with him seeing like that, but I don't need to see him in some sort of kind of domestic scene with Sam talking about stuff like them. Jason coming in on Christina and Sam talking, and then Christina leaving, and it's just Sam and Jason talking. Like,
I love Sam and Jason. Oh, and you know what other scene I was living for was I'm kind of living but not living for the whole Shiloh, Peter, Nell situation that's happening. So there's the Nell Shiloh situation, and then there's the Shiloh Peter situation that's going down. And I screamed at the TV screen out loud when Peter had that that dream where he thought that Jason was gonna shoot him. I was like, no! I screamed at the TV. So I was like, no! My mother was like, what is wrong with you? And she's like, who died? I'm like, oh, it was just a dream.
I was so excited about the beginning of that scene on Friday. Like, all right, this is cool. We're just gonna cut to the chase. Peter is going to be upfront and tell the truth, and then we get to see what happens out of that. Does Maxie accept it but still keeps a secret, or what happens? Or does she distance herself from him?
And they're dragging it out.
And they drag it out again, and I was like, all right, I like where the scene's going, and then it just does that deep jump into camp where it's like, I brought Jason here with a gun to shoot you in the face. I'm like, dang it, you made this a dream. I don't want this to be a dream.
I was kind of living for the fact that it was a dream, because then it was like, because I was like, Maxie would not be taking her phone to go tell on him that quick. Like, that would not be happening. That's when I was like, there's something clearly very wrong with the situation. But I also love the twist where they and I said this a couple of weeks ago. I was like, they not going to bring back Helena. They done brought her back like she done had more lives than a cat. Clearly, I was wrong, because they have brought her butt back yet again.
It's great. I mean, it's great. It makes sense in the flashback.
She is like the character who will never die on General Hospital.
Constance Towers is great, and she looks great.
I live for some Constance Towers as Helena Cassadine. She's fantabulous. But come on. How many times can she die and come back to life? I'm just saying.
Keep going. Keep coming. That scene with Peter and Maxie in that hotel room. So Peter has that dream, and then my heart breaks because it turns out it's just a dream. And then, of course, Peter's like, I got a text. I got to go to this meeting, instead of telling her the truth. But Maxie, there's another part of that just creeped me out. Like, hey, yeah, we could, I'm so glad I stayed here. We've still got time. I could stay here and we can make love. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I wasn't having that either. I was like, I could have done without that dialogue.
I just don't know.
This is the thing. I would have rather seen that happen as opposed to her talking about it.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
And I just don't know. In closed company, it's just the two of you talking. Are you gonna just, and then we could make love?
Like nobody does that in real life.
Nobody says make love.
Nobody says make love. Nobody says. People in real life are like, let's hit it. Like
yes!
Ain't nobody saying let's make love. And first of all, they're not gonna announce it. They just gonna do it. Like, what's going on? I don't understand.
You can have coitus.
You did not say coitus. I hate you so much for that. I hate you so. Oh, and then there's this. What do we think? So they keep. I'm thinking they're going to bring somebody back into play on Stella, because they keep bringing her up.
Yes. Something shady. TJ's so shady about it.
Well, everybody said it was shady. Jordan said it was shady. Curtis said it was shady. And now TJ's like, it's shady. Like, she just going to run off to Paris with somebody. Like, all of a sudden, that's the one relative. It just happens to be in Paris. Like, the whole thing is shady. But they keep bringing it up, which makes me think that maybe it's going to swing back around to Helena.
No, it could. You can see it. But with Helena and the revelation that Peter was more involved with the Drew Jason thing than he initially said, does it seem like such a horrible thing that, like, learning that Peter is really kind of behind what happened with Drew and Jason? Mm-hmm. Does this change everything? Do you feel like, oh my gosh, you're even worse than I ever thought?
No, I feel like that happened during a time when he thought he was Heinrich Faison. That happened before Nathan was killed. That happened before all of this, before he was taken hostage by Albrecht. Like, all of these things, all of that happened prior to this life and this love that he's found in Port Charles. It's probably always going to be, every person's past is a part of their present and their future. You can't escape your past. So for that reason, it's always going to be there. But that doesn't make it a situation where now he's still that person. Like, he's gone above and beyond to prove that he isn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and because we see him make the call where once he finds out that Drew is taking a little detour to try to find Andre to bring him back to Port Charles to see if they can reverse what happened to Franco, he makes that call like, this can't happen. They can't meet. You've got to get rid of him no matter what. I feel like that is certainly a blemish against him. That's a Heinrich.
That's like, and when he did that, I was like, dude, like, you gave Maxie this speech about I've changed, I've done. When you do something like that, you haven't changed, because now you're just doing stuff to cover your behind.
But I don't know why.
And why
he wouldn't want that to happen.
But because I think they said that if he comes back, then for some reason, whatever this, other than the money, apparently Franco, Drew, whoever is walking around with some other information. maybe about Helena, maybe about Peter, maybe about Shiloh. He's walking around with some other information that they don't want to come out. If Homeboy comes back and he redoes these memories, then all of that stuff has a possibility of coming out in a different way that none of them see coming, which is why they're probably trying to stop Andre from showing up in Port Charles.
Oh, man. Well.
But when Anna comes back, she's probably going to come back with Andre or without him, or there's going to be some other mission where they go over there to save her, which I will die if that happens. I'm like, can we just not have another mission right now?
I mean, I am glad, because the whole Peter thing, he has been, at least, seems like he's kind of had his tail between his legs since
For
he
a
kinda,
minute.
For a
Yeah.
while. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it'd be to see some kind of shades of him, but if they make him, if they go full evil with him, then you know, like, hey, I guess it's time for you to leave the show. So you got to find that, like, Valentine kind of mix, where you can be bad at times, but then good at others. So you at least, I feel like for the soap, you still have places to go with the character. Because if they went full bore, oh wait, he's sinking right back into Heinrich.
That wouldn't be good.
Then I feel like it's pretty much saying like, all right, cool, we're gonna see this. We're gonna take this character to the highest.
We
it can
don't
go
need
and then
another
send
bad
him off.
character right now. We've got plenty of them right now in this moment. How about, did we love the scene with Kiki finally showing up for Ava?
I mean,
or did we feel meh?
You know, it was nice to see. You know, and it was great to get her Haley Aaron in back to do that. Yeah. You know what I liked is that it wasn't like you know, everything's fine now.
Yeah, I was kind of having that. She was like, my favorite part is when she went over to the bed and she was reading the chat room comments about Ava and commenting on that. I'm like, yes, that was pure comedy. But I feel like with Ava, they don't know what to do with her right now. She's like in this crazy limbo, you know, where they love her at GH, I think, and they're just trying to figure out like who to pair her up with or how to make her interesting, and they haven't quite figured it out yet.
See, but they've got Scott Baldwin right there, ready to get that going, to see if they could. But they don't seem, for whatever reason, not interested in pursuing that as a serious thing. But we also have Ava dealing with the fact that after she goes to visit Ryan in prison for trying to see closure, he's now writing her. And
then there's a whole situation where she goes to Alexis. Like, there was that moment where Alexis and the doctor finally had that moment. They finally, like, admitted that they liked each other and they were having that bonding moment. And then everybody and their mama wanted to walk up to her and have a conversation.
Of course.
I was like, for real, though? And they're like, can you just stop him from writing? No, that's like infringement of freedom of speech. No, he can't just stop writing you. Like, what are you thinking? I can't.
But I feel like everybody had the right thing, and I don't know why Ava thought like it was such a weird thing. Is just don't open it, throw it away. Like why? And she's like, what? Why?
It was crazy.
And even when she had the chance to tear it up, she was
still clutching on because my girl Ava loves drama. They're saying in the chat room, they're talking about, remember when the wards were on General Hospital?
Yeah, Justice and
yeah. So they're saying that Edward had a black son that might be a Q, that might be a ward, and that maybe that is the half relative that is related to Aunt Stella. It says if Stella is a Q or Cassadine, she would have more than one relative. And then Michael B says, I can get down with the Cassadines having black folks in the fam, but Stella, I don't know. I mean, and Dolores is like, yeah, that dream with Kiki was bad. It was very entertaining though, Dolores. It gave me, I was laughing. It was funny.
Because even if you think like, is this really the angel or the ghost or the specter of Kiki visiting Ava, or if this is just a dream that she's having? Even Ava is not giving herself a break. Her subconscious won't, like, she knows, like, I effed up and I'm not giving myself any slack.
But let's talk about the fact that Chelsea, I love that now Chelsea's not even calling herself a medium anymore. Now she's calling herself a medium influencer.
That's right. You got to do it.
That right there gave me pure comedy. How you going to be I'm like, okay.
You got to do what you got to do. I mean,
how you going to be a fortune teller influencer? Like, that was pure comedy. I don't know if anybody caught that, but when she kept saying, and she said it multiple times, like she didn't just say it once. Chelsea kept saying, I was like, oh, you're funny. You got jokes. That was funny to me.
I am liking her, and we've talked about this before in the past with all these psychic things. that we still don't have Olivia coming by with her little weird flashes and dreams. That she
It's like
has.
they forgot.
Yeah.
It's like they forgot that Olivia. Like, why can't Olivia figure out where Dante is?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna give somebody that ability on the soap, you can't just forget that they had the ability and not address it. Like, she got to see something at some point or feel something somewhere. Speaking of Olivia, that scene with her and Lulu, where she was trying to, make Lulu not give up on Dante. That actress, her little face. I know her face was just as swollen and red when she left work that day because she cried her little eyes out.
That was great, and even the moment with Robert too.
Yeah.
Where
those were some good scenes. You know what else was a good scene? Was that scene between Carly and Jax where they were fighting over Joss and whether or not Josh should go back to school or whether Jax should just take her off. And Jax was like, yeah, I'll just take her here and I'll take her there. And Carly was like, that's not a break. That would be vacation.
Yeah.
I was like, pure comedy. I cannot.
Yeah, it is interesting with somebody like Jocelyn who's gone through something that you never want to see your child go through.
Mm-hmm.
Is them having somebody close to them that they're in love with pass away at such a young age.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, Jocelyn feeling that she doesn't fit in currently into school because she feels like she's had this life experience that no one around her can really understand or compare to.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels like, I need to do something different because I just don't feel in the mental space.
Yeah, I feel for her because even her closest friends can't really, like, they were there during all of that, but they weren't the ones that were intimate with Oscar. They weren't the ones that had that moment that is forever, kind of embedded in her subconscious or whatever. But yeah, that was interesting. You know what else was interesting is when I'm getting sick of this too. I'm getting sick of Dev always getting caught or being accused of something. Like, are we gonna find out what his real purpose in Port Charles is? Because I'm about tired of seeing him lurking around a corner too. But there was this one moment where he got caught. I think it was with the sandbags or something.
Yeah.
And Jason had a little talk with him and said that there was no shortcut to respect. I'm like, ooh, nice. Because that's the truth. There is no shortcut to respect. You have to earn it. It's not something that you can just show up and go, hey, respect me. That's not going to happen.
And I say that to Carla every week, and she still won't give it to me.
I hate you. Oh,
but you know what? But Dev, I'm not. Is this a character you want to see a year from now? Still entwined in with these characters?
I'm not sure. Like, there's part of me that's on the verge of being over it, and there's another part of me that's like, I'm almost intrigued to see how they're gonna play him out in terms of Sonny, because they're even Jason and Carly said that he's to the point with Dev where he has no objectivity. He has no objectivity when it comes to Dev, which is really interesting. Like, I'm very interested to know why he has no objectivity when it comes to this young boy. Is that his way of trying to hold on to Dante? Is that what it is?
It could be that it's all entwined with that. It's like he couldn't save Dante, but he can save somebody that's kind of entwined with that experience.
Yeah, because I'm just like, I don't understand why. I'm not getting why he is holding on to him like that. But and let's talk about this chick, this mysterious chick who's shown up, who's now who's now like the fitness guru or whatever, who's stalking Diane and Alexis all over Port Charles in her workout gear. Like, no matter where they were, she showed up. I'm like, what the hell? And why did they not fix this? So that same chick was in the hospital in Sasha's room and closed the blinds, but they never went back to show why she closed the blinds. It was the same girl. I'm like, why is she closing the blinds and nobody's addressing that? Like, and Nina's outside in the hallway, like, gavetching or whatever she was doing out there in the hallway. I'm like, what is happening right now? It was just, that was a lot going on. But what I did enjoy about that is when the girl told them, she says, oh, nice push-ups and not the bra. I hollered. I was like, that was pure comedy. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I guess it looks like whatever, this whole thing with Alexis doing that hit and run years back, that Christina kind of, whether she embellished it to get back at Alexis, is not going to blow up in Alexis's face. Because it feels like that she's related, whether it's a family member or something, to this person that now is going to come back and try to get some payback on Alexis.
She's all up in Alexis's face, and I'm like, what is up with what?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess we're just gonna watch this lady get kind of sunk into Alexis' life and then find out a way to destroy it from within. Whether she gets her, off the wagon and, drinking again. I have no idea. Whatever the
I don't
end game
know,
of that
but
is.
I could get my giggles on every time they put Diane and Alexis together. It's pure. They should have their own sitcom. They are hilarious.
That scene of them after the workout session, they're just sitting there in the Metro Court, was great.
Pure gold. Every time they have a scene together, pure gold. I hope that they're like really good for. Like I'm hoping in real life that they're really good friends, and that's kind of like a play on the conversations that they have in real life. It has to be because it comes way too easily and organic for them. I really love that.
But I also like as much as, and which I do like the relationship between Max and Diane. But for as much as they often name check it, I can't think when was the last time we really saw the two of them together.
It's been what? Has it been almost a year? It's been a minute. Like I can't even remember. Y'all in the chat room, when was the last time we saw Max and Diane together? I don't even remember. It's been
like 5 years, maybe.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute. You know what else? You know what else was funny? Was Monica telling Film that he needed to get some sleep because he was looking like a vampire. I always catch the funny lines. I'm like, the fact that Monica was checking somebody, that in itself was pure comedy because they haven't had Monica check somebody in a minute either.
I did like the scene between Monica and Jason.
That was a really nice scene.
Where Jason kind of realized, like, wow, yeah, I have a much more better appreciation for what you went through.
Now that this whole thing with Franco, and that was another thing. You saw that realization come across his face as she was talking, and she was trying to get out of the office to go find him, and he was like, "Yeah, no, you don't want to do that." And they had that whole scene as to him explaining why she shouldn't do it, and because he was there on the other end of it when she was going through it with him. They had some really nice scenes the last couple of weeks. There was some really nice grounded scenes. That scene with Shiloh and Nell in the prison, that was a nice scene too, because you can tell that they about to be best friends. It's about to be off and cracking up in Pattonville.
I'm really intrigued by that one because he is wanting Nell's baby, thinking it's really his. But she also wants revenge against people that have done her wrong.
Exactly. So when she found out, when he let it slip that he had shares of EOQ, she was like, "Oh, to be continued."
Yeah.
She's like, "This could work very nicely in my favor."
Yeah. So I don't know if she wants to team up with him to get revenge, or at least say that she's doing that, but still get him for trying to possibly take her baby.
Nell's a smart cookie. She's gonna find a way to get at both Harmony and him at the same time. And the Quartermaines. She's going to get everybody because she's a smart cookie.
Do you feel like Harmony, though, deserves any of Nell's scorn?
Harmony doesn't deserve anything that's come her way. But it's like guilty by association. She's guilty by association with Shiloh.
Well, I mean, she did go along with some of these things at the beginning, even though she's kind of come to a realization that was wrong. But I feel like she hasn't. I mean, she started a little bit of the ball rolling before she realized how bad Shiloh was with the baby stuff, but then it's quickly backpedaled from that. So I feel like from a Nell thing, I don't think she deserves any kind of retribution from Nell in regards to that.
I don't, but Nell's twisted. Think about it. That girl is twisted. She will make up her own set of facts to suit her own twisted agenda. She will twist stuff to suit her agenda. Look how she twisted Michael's feelings for her. Michael wasn't going for her like that. But in her mind, they were going to get married. They were going to live happily ever after. She was going to get rid of Carl. Like, there was this whole scenario that she created for herself. She will do it with them, too. And her being in prison, that's not going to stop her. Has it stopped her from doing anything else? Nope.
I mean, I feel like there's going to be either a huge jailbreak or a huge murder mystery. Because once you loop Peter into knowing about this stuff about Shiloh knowing about Drew's past or Peter's past, then it becomes just one more person that you can put on the suspect list of somebody that would want to kill Shiloh to either get payback or to stop him revealing what he really knows.
Yeah, that whole situation is going to be real interesting.
You know what's also interesting though, Carla?
Ooh, what? Do tell.
Our fans. They're very, very interesting. I love them because there's so many things you could be doing on a holiday weekend. You could be hanging out with family. You could have a little barbecue.
And they decided to come hang with us.
That is right. You decided to spend the time with us, and we couldn't be more thankful. As always, folks, we really appreciate you spending your Sundays with us, helping us become the ESPN of TV talk. But as always, we are looking to continue to grow. I mean, Carla's media empire exploding. Could always use more focus on there, and as well as many other great shows that happen here. So if you get a chance, whether it's a GH Report or any of the many after shows we do here, whether it's on AfterBuzz, Black Hollywood Live, Book Circle Online, or Popcorn Talk, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you get a chance, go to iTunes, give it a 5-star rating. But no matter what you're doing, get involved in the conversation so Carla can say your name.
Yes, and I'm going to say some names that I didn't hit before. I'm going to hit Lori Coyle, and I'm going to hit Daisy Flower 40. And I think those are the only two that I missed from before. And everybody else, y'all know who you are. I shouted you out. What's up, what's up, what's up?
Let's talk about probably the most important thing that happened in these past couple weeks that we've been gone, and that is Mac becoming chief of detectives.
I wouldn't say that was the most.
That's the most important thing for him, baby.
But
the Scorpio Brothers ride again.
But I love the conversation between him and Felicia, because I thought Felicia was going to be like, "How could you take this job?" And she was like, "Yeah, go for it. Bye."
To hear her talk about all the great things that she's been doing at the Floating Rib.
That was hilarious. I was like, but it looked like the same floating rib every time they show it on camera. But okay, girl, you go with that.
We got a great, a lot of organic stuff on the menu. We did a single barrel whiskey tasting.
I was like, she was all excited. And the look on his face was like, why are you having fun without me?
It's like, I've seen a recent uptick in our, nighttime activities.
But no, this is the thing. So we've been talking for weeks about, Billy Miller's last day on GH, his last day on GH. Why did they have his last day involve him taking money to Afghanistan? Like, that was it.
That was it, so that he could get detoured to go find Shiloh, and then he could just die off camera, or disappear/die off camera. And you can decide, is he really dead? Is he being recast? What are we gonna do?
I was not happy about that.
It was kind of a
it was weird.
Yeah,
it was really weird. But what I was really living for was that wine tasting scene with Maxie and Destin and Lulu, because Lulu was trying to act like she was having none of it, but she kind of was.
And then of course, they meet there at the baseball field where, of course, Lulu's kid doesn't want to be like, why do I have to stick with this? Dad quits. Why can't I quit this stuff?
Yeah, Rocco, he's whining as much as his mom, which is like, monkey see, monkey do, I guess.
I feel like Dustin's gonna stick around. It seems like
it's feeling like it. He's a cutie pie too, but I don't know if they're gonna have them stick around Port Charles together. Like, the jury's still out on that one. I'm not sure if they're going to have them stick around and have them explore a storyline together, or if they're going to have them all leave together. You know what I mean?
It's certainly a low-key way of bringing this character in.
Yeah, it's not like full throttle. It's kind of like incrementally kind of sneaking him in.
Yeah.
like baby steps at a time,
And I got to feel like they must like him if they keep bringing him back. So
Yeah. I would imagine that would be the case.
And there is a certain lack of leading men that would fit into that kind of age range for like a Lulu or something.
Absolutely. You know what else was interesting was the fact that they finally figured out what was wrong with Sasha.
Man, that avian flu, man.
And surmised that she had that bird flu, and that somebody purposely put it in her food. The thing that's killing me about that is flu is contagious. So why isn't Michael sick? Like, even though he didn't eat the virus, it wasn't in his food, he didn't eat it, whether he ate it or not, flu is a contagious situation. Like, if you're around somebody that has the flu, you're going to get the flu.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm sure she didn't have the symptoms immediately, so they probably got a little freaky deaky.
So
they made love.
You did not say freaky deaky. I cannot stand you. Oh, somebody was saying that the guy that plays Dustin was on One Life to Live. He looked real familiar. What's his name? Do you know?
I don't know.
He looks real familiar. He's a cutie pie though. But yeah, that whole bird flu situation. Oh, and another nice scene was that scene that happened between Jax and Nina in the hallway.
Yeah.
I was kind of living for that scene.
Well, it was interesting, and then also just how I kind of like the dynamic between Nina and Jax.
Mm-hmm.
Nina about Jax to Valentine,
mm-hmm.
and then Sonny kind of on the perimeter of all of that.
Like, Sonny came in like a bulldog. He was like, wait a minute, I'm not finished talking. I'm glad he didn't grab her, because if he'd grabbed her, I was going to feel some kind of way about that. Yeah. He just kind of did a circle around him, and that's kudos to Maurice Bernard for that, because any other actor would have made the choice to touch her. And maybe the actress playing Nina was like, yeah, I'm going to need you not to be touching me. We don't know how that went down. But I'm going to go with the fact that Maurice Bernard made the choice not to touch her, and he just kind of circled around himself and very passive aggressively said, I'm not done talking to you yet. Like, it was menacing,
Yeah.
but like very powerful all at the same time.
Because I do like, even Jack's saying, like, yeah, we are too close and we have too many things in common for us to go, for a full conflict. It's a all lose situation if that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sonny's interaction with Jax at the Metro Court saying, like, you might want to look into Nina. Just the way he delivers that line with that little kind of weird smile that he does at the end and then walks off.
I was like, yeah, I was there for all of that. They said that guy's name is Mark Lawson and that he played Brody on One Life to Live.
Oh, all right.
And Brody was married to Jessica Buchanan. Thanks, guys.
Well, let's see more of him.
I kind of like him. Do we care that Willow and Chase moved in together?
I mean, that's fine. I mean, I guess it's that balance that you want to see on a soap is that, when it's all, I feel like it works best when it's a mix. When there's too many relationships that are in trouble and you have nothing that's actually positive in a relationship, then it's rough to watch. So at least you have, for whatever it's worth, your mileage may vary in how much you like Willow and Chase and how much you want to see them together, but at least in the broad sense of the soap, to have some positive relationship moving in a forward direction as opposed to spiraling out of control or going down.
They're the only ones that are moving forward. Everybody else is just having issues. And what other scene I love too was the scene where Cameron comes home and finds Franco in the house, and he's all excited until he realizes it's not really Franco.
Yeah.
And he goes to leave, and he tries to stop him, and they have that brief conversation at the door. I really love how they are giving the young man who plays Cameron, they're giving him a lot of responsibility, line-wise, character-wise, storyline-wise, and they're giving him room to grow. It's really nice to see because he's gifted.
I've been enjoying him, especially as kind of frustrated as I was with him at the beginning when he first came on. To see where he is now, much more interesting to watch. So I am enjoying that. I still...
They've moved him beyond like that bratty, because they had him being that bratty bad boy son of Elizabeth when they first brought him back, and he's evolved so far away from that it's been really nice to watch his evolution.
Are you satisfied with the current state of the teens in General Hospital?
I feel like they don't give Trina enough to do. Like they bring Trina in, and Trina has like one or two lines. Like, if you're gonna bring, this is the thing about soap operas when it comes to black people on the soaps. When they bring a black character in, at first they bring them in full throttle and they're all there and they're talking and they're all engrossed, in the storyline. And then they get to a point where they're literally like one line here, two lines there. If you're gonna bring a character in and make them a series regular or make them recurring or just put them in a situation where they are going to be a little more visible on the scene, then give them something to do. Like, who is Trina's mom and daddy?
Yeah, we have no idea.
We have no idea what her backstory is. Who is she? Where did she come from? Who is her family? Why did they come to Port Charles? Why is she there? Like, why is she the only black person or the only black family in Port Charles other than Epiphany, Jordan, and Curtis? Like, I need to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's true. It feels weird to just have the child without fleshing out further family.
I remember when I was on Shake It Up and I was playing Zendaya's mom, for the longest time they would have episode after episode where I wouldn't be there as her and Roshan Fegan's mom. They wouldn't have me there, and they would just be climbing in through the window. First of all, I am a black mama. My children are not going to be climbing through somebody's window to get into their house. Like, they got home training. I've taught them better than that. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't be that. They made sure that the white mama was there all the time, but I was hardly ever there. And that was a problem for me, because I'm like, it's a Disney show, I know, and it's a sitcom world situation, I know, but this is a soap opera, so it's even more grounded. I'm like, I'm going to need to know who her mama and daddy are. Is she there with her grandmother? Is she an orphan? Like, what's her situation? I want to know. Yeah. And I need for her to have more than one or two lines. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's because if you're giving her if you're going to say we want her here on a regular basis, let's do something with her.
On the other flip side, at least they're giving Epiphany more screen time. Epiphany's having more screen time. They have they even took her out of the house. Oh, I almost jumped off the sofa when I saw that they took her out of the hospital and had her go to Elizabeth's house to visit her.
Yes.
Like, yeah, give these actors of color that they put on there, they're tremendously gifted people. Brianna, who's in there playing Jordan, she's gifted. Danelle, who's playing Curtis, he's gifted. The young man playing TJ, all these people are really gifted, strong, grounded actors. Give them something else to do. We don't always need to see Sonny and Carly.
No.
We don't always need to see Sam and Jason. I mean, those people are staples of the show. Folk are going to tune in and watch General Hospital to watch them anyway. But it would be nice to see some of the other characters get some love, get some storyline. Let's see something happen with them. Like, you're not going to... The show has been on the air for over 50 years. You're not going to lose no viewership if you give some people of color a little love. I'm off my soapbox now, but Lord.
Well,
I just got to say it.
I mean, I loved it because we get to see Curtis in the middle of a sticky situation where he's been running this scheme thinking, all right, I can get paid from Aurora, but also work for Valentine, and it finally bites him.
And got his face cracked. Like, Jax read him so hard, he couldn't even respond to it.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, so it's come to my attention that you've been doing blah, 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 blah. And he was like, he said, yes, so I'm glad you're not going to try to deny it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you're not going to try to lie. Oh, and by the way, you're fired, and walked away. I'm like, well, okay, Jax.
Oof.
He dropped the bomb and was like, and scene.
Yeah.
That was classic.
And
I didn't want to see them fight. You know what I mean?
No, that's true. But I feel like Curtis is an honorable man. I mean,
yeah.
It's that. So I mean, he's not going to lie
No.
to something that he was doing. It's like, yeah, I was doing it, and he'll own it. But now, possibly in a sticky situation, if he's going to partner up with Valentine to find Cassandra Pierce.
Well, the fact that he had to pick up the phone and call Valentine and grovel was just like, ooh, that was harsh.
And Valentine was just like, oh.
He was like, oh, did he really? He was so gloating on the other end of the phone. I'm like, oh, wow, that's messed up.
Yeah, and so we now have the situation of what's that can happen if and when they find Cassandra Pierce. It's not if, but when.
Oh,
what
yeah,
does
they're going to
Curtis
find
do?
her. Yeah, I don't know what Curtis is going to do, but I lived for the moment that Nina got that text, that text message with that photo of Cassandra.
Yes.
She's in like, hey. I'm like, ooh, no. And how she had that nervous breakdown. And then I kind of need to see that moment where Sasha just fesses up to Michael, because I feel like that's just a time bomb waiting to happen.
The way that she said, like, once I get better, I'll tell you everything, I feel like that pretty much says she's going to make it through. Because if she passes away...
She might not, though.
Without ever telling that, I feel like that revelation needs to happen. Because it would set off... It's a much more interesting storyline for Nina, for Michael, for Valentine.
It would be, but they've been known to do that before. Kill people off for whatever reason.
True, but then if they killed it off and nobody ever knew, then Valentine, like, he gets away scot-free. It doesn't matter. Like, no matter when the truth comes out, it's
happened with Cassadines before. I mean, they do it all the time. Oh, and this awkward moment one-on-one, the moment with Hayden where she's trying to like get information about the Cassadines out of Alexis. Well, and Christina, she's like, yeah, let's talk about it. And Christina was like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, and Molly was just like, hey, we should put something on the books so we can talk about like the time we used to kind of explore.
No.
Windermere? Like, oof,
no.
Fine?
No.
But we do at least find out what Hayden and Jax are up to. Why they're up to this, we still don't know. But it's to find this Miko's codicil to his will, which is going to actually give the Cassadine fortune to its rightful heir, which I assume is going to be Spencer. Mm-hmm. And then everything is set right in the world. But why?
No, because they're gonna fight Spencer tooth and nail for it. Because Spencer's he's a teenager now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I could see why Hayden wants to do it. I'm curious as to what Jack's motivation is.
That's a good question.
Because he's gotten really no love for the Cassadines.
No.
He wasn't a huge fan of Nicholas.
No.
And Helena, he could really do nothing about. So I don't know why.
That's very interesting. That's a good question, actually.
Yeah. So, I mean, Hayden's close to Spencer, so I can see why she'd be invested in this. Mm-hmm. But I'll be curious to see what Jax's motivation is. What does he get out of this?
Speaking of Hayden, I love how Hayden's version of breakfast was nothing but a plate full of donuts.
That's mwah, mwah.
I can't with you. What we got for news and
we had a hot second here for some news and gossip here.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So we were talking about possibly seeing Nicholas Cassadine. Everybody's name checking him. So
Right.
is this a possibility that we're going to be coming back? Because there's supposedly a mystery ICU patient. Could it be a Drew recast? Could it be possibly Nicholas? We're going to see what the deal is with this.
I'm hoping it's Nicholas, because that would be, because they brought him up a lot. Laura's brought him up. Everybody keeps bringing up his name. Hayden's brought him up.
Yeah.
Hayden was like, I was married to Nicholas. I'm like, Nicholas must be coming back.
Yeah, it's so basically it's going to be, well, there is speculating could it be Nicholas's triumphant return after the codicil exposure. So would be interesting. I am down for that. Whether it's going to be Tyler Christopher or somebody else.
I need Tyler Christopher to come back.
I would love it.
Boomba.
I feel like unless they're keeping this completely under wraps, there has been like no buzz about him. I mean, even though the character coming back, but nothing about Tyler Christopher being the person playing him. And I feel like we would know that by now.
They in the chat room talking about ain't nothing wrong with donuts for breakfast.
Absolutely not. No. I heartily endorse that.
That was a lot of donuts though, Michael B. I'm just saying.
I have a donut with a side of donuts, and I'll drink some donuts. Thank you. Folks, that's going to do it for this episode of the GH Report. We have done it!
Yay!
Holy cow! Folks, as always, like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and thank you, everybody, for spending your Sunday on a holiday weekend with us and hopping in the chat and sharing your thoughts. But if you want to stay in touch with either Carla or myself and share more thoughts during the ongoing weeks, Carla, where can they find you?
Y'all can find me at 5 o'clock Pacific time over at Black Hollywood Live for the Curvy Film Critic with Carla Renata. And then, of course, you can always find me here at the GH Report with my boy Frank.
Look at that. Well, except for next week because, nothing. Carla is going to be heading up to Toronto. Big star.
No. Yeah, I'll be at the Toronto Film Festival, so I'll be back the following week and we'll catch up.
Look at that. So until then, folks, we will see you next time here on the JH Report right here on AfterBuzz TV.
Bye, y'all.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.